The 2024 NFL Draft has concluded, and now we get to talk about who some of the biggest steals were. Every year, we see players that are mocked in a certain range that end up going later than many of us had expected. And today, I've got 10 players that I think went way later. Now, if you guys also want to see the players I think were taken a bit prematurely, my grades, stay tuned, and then I'll have my top undrafted free agents available as well. That one is going to be a really fun video that will be going up pretty soon after these. Got to record those once we know who ultimately gets drafted. But leave a like, subscribe if you are new, comment down below what were some of the biggest steals in the draft in your opinion. And let's get into it with who I think is the biggest steal in the draft. It's Adonai Mitchell at number 52 to my Indianapolis Colts. Now, my bias, maybe a little, but I think consensus had Adonai Mitchell in the first round. I saw him mocked very high for a long time. Now, there are some concerns with him. Some people thought he would take plays off. I personally didn't really see that on tape, and it seemed like it was a lot of, oh, the play was schemed towards Xavier Worthy or Jatavian Sanders. He wouldn't be as aggressive on the play. So that's something that I think could definitely be coached up. But you heard Chris Ballard talk about it. The character concerns I don't think are very existent with him. People tried to make up stories. The diabetes are something that have also come up, but nonetheless, you got an incredibly talented receiver in the back end of the second round who's got size, speed, separation, and route running abilities. He's everything that this Colts team needed, and any team that would have taken him here would have gotten an A+. Excellent value for Adonai Mitchell. Super happy he's on my team. I think it is an A+ pick and the biggest steal of the draft. Another steal here was Peyton Wilson at 98 to the Steelers. Now, I get the concerns. This is a guy who had some pretty serious injury history, but if he can stay healthy, he's going to be one of the better linebackers in football. He's good in coverage, but where Peyton Wilson is going to make his money is as a tackler. He is a tackling machine. Seems like every single pile he was a part of, he ran in a ridiculous 40 time as well. He does have a knee with no ACL, though. So that is something that we're going to have to talk about. That's why he fell in the draft. But the Steelers, who I think had an unbelievable draft, get Peyton Wilson at number 98, which I think is tremendous value for a tremendous player. I think this is a home run for Pittsburgh, one of the biggest steals in the draft, and an A+ pick. They haven't had that linebacker that they needed in a long time. I know that they brought in Patrick Queen, but now you've got a really nice linebacker duo of Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen. Adisa Isaac was another steal out of Penn State. Now, while I wasn't the biggest fan of Adisa Isaac, I thought he was going to go early in the third, be a top 75 pick. Ends up falling to 93, and I think Baltimore sweeps him up. Very athletic. I know people are going to look at the combine scores. You can't really rely on combine scores for athleticism all the time because Adisa Isaac plays a lot quicker. He's got a lot faster burst than I think people realize, and he's one of the best run defenders in this entire draft class. He showed it at the Senior Bowl. He showed it on tape for Penn State. Was more productive than Chop Robinson was. Baltimore, who needed some more pass rushers after losing out on Jadeveon Clowney as he's headed to Carolina, I think this is a perfect replacement for him. He's not going to be the most dynamic pass rusher, but he's going to set the edge in the run game. He's going to be able to disengage with blockers. I think the upside is there for him to be a really good edge rusher down the line. I think he was one of the big steals at 93. Another steal was Christian Haynes at 81. I thought this guy was a top 50 talent, borderline in this class. He falls to 81. And for the second year in a row, Seattle makes the steals list. They got Olu Oluwatimi last year, who I absolutely love to be their center of the future. Now you get Christian Haynes. Yes, people are going to talk about, oh, he's at UConn. He played FCS competition. You scout the player, not the helmet. And Christian Haynes has a lot of what you love to see from the guard position. He's got tremendous size. He's got really good quickness, athleticism, and is a mauler in the run game. Very good pick for a Seahawks team that desperately needed to improve on the interior of their offensive line and their defensive line. You look at their defensive line, and they brought in Byron Murphy at 16, but I think they went out and they got a guard who could play on the left side, play on the right side, be a very good run blocker, which I think is a lot of what Seattle wants to do this year. I thought this was a great value pick down the board at 81. I think it was a great steal down the board for Seattle. Another steal was Cooper Beebe. This is one of my favorite players in this draft that nobody talks about. He's athletic. Another guy who's just nasty in the run game. And you're going to watch this guy on tape. He just clears clears out the way in the run game. He's very athletic, got very good hand placement. He also has some tackle flexibility. He's very similar to Tyler Smith, who was another Cowboys player just a few years ago. He's got the versatility, he's got the size and the explosiveness, and he finishes his blocks. He is nasty to finish the blocks. I really love what Cooper Beebe can do. I'm very interested to see kind of what Dallas is going to do on this offensive line. Are you going to move Tyler Smith to tackle, play Beebe at guard? Are you going to play Guyton at that left tackle spot and play Beebe and Tyler Smith as your two guards? I think this is a good problem to have right now if you're Dallas, because you've got bodies now that are going to be very good run blockers. I love this pick at 73. I thought it was tremendous value for the Cowboys, and I think he's going to be a very good player for them as a rookie. Another steal for me was Troy Franklin to the Denver Broncos at 102. Now, stay tuned for my grades. I think Denver has had an unbelievable draft in this class. They've done a very nice job of getting talent, getting positions of need, and you're surrounding your new quarterback, Bo Nix, with a player he's extremely familiar with in Troy Franklin, a guy who's very explosive. A lot of people saw him as strictly a deep ball threat, and I think he's going to be a great deep ball threat, but I think he's a better route runner than we give him credit for. Now, you lost Jerry Jeudy, so you had a hole at the receiver spot, and you bring in Troy Franklin. They've done a very nice job of giving Bo Nix weapons, and let alone a weapon that he played with at the collegiate level. I love this. If you are the Denver Broncos, you should be feeling very happy. You've got speed, size on the outside, good hands as well. I think he's going to be a very dynamic player, a good deep threat, and to get him outside the top 100 was tremendous value. A guy who I thought probably was a top 70 guy. I had him as a top 30 guy on my board, ends up falling to 102. Home run there for the Denver Broncos. Another steal for me was TJ Tampa at number 130, another guy who I had graded as a top 50 talent in this draft class, ends up falling to the 130th pick in the draft. Look, you drafted Nate Wiggins, so maybe it's not the biggest position in need for the Seattle Seahawks, or for the Baltimore Ravens, excuse me. But the Ravens, they needed a moldable corner. And that's what I think TJ Tampa is. He's not the most dynamic athlete. He's not the best in man coverage. He's got good ball skills, very good instincts, and is a very smart corner, particularly in man coverage, but he still has a bit of ways to go. And I think at 130, this is a great value for him. A guy who a lot of people had a second-round grade on. We heard first-round buzz on him. He ends up falling all the way to number 130 to a team that they have one of the best developmental staffs in the league. They've got corners, so he won't have to play right away. I love this for the Baltimore Ravens. They get a very dynamic player at number 130 who I think is going to come in and be a very nice rotational zone coverage guy. I love it for the Ravens at number 130. Another steal here, another steal for the draft was Cam Hart at number 140. Cam Hart was one of my favorite sleeper corners in this draft class. 6'2", has tremendous length. He's a very good athlete. He's explosive at the cornerback position, and you got him at number 140. I think this is great value for him. A guy who probably is going to start for this team right away. He's very mobile. He's got the flexible hips. I think he's going to be a great corner. Why did he fall this far? He does have an extensive injury history in his collegiate career that I think did push him down boards just a little bit, but he's going to come in and be a starter right away. This team drafted Tarheeb Still. Stay tuned if you haven't seen my reaches. I did not understand that pick, but Cam Hart here at number 140, I think makes a ton of sense. I love it for the Chargers. The size to be that number one boundary corner. Just got to hope he stays healthy. And the final steal of the video is going to be Mo Kamara, to the Miami Dolphins at number 158. A guy who probably could have gone in the third round. He's athletic. He's a very good run defender. He's a good pass rusher, was very explosive for Colorado State over the last few seasons. And now he's in Miami. I'll say it right now. I think he's going to have more of an impact. I like this pick way more than I liked the Chop Robinson pick. I think he's got a lot of pass rush moves. He's got a lot of upside to be a dynamic player at the next level. And I think at 158, this is exactly the spot that you want to get this guy. I love it for the Dolphins. And I think these all are going to be players that are going to make big impacts in the league that were taken a little bit later than we expected. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Let me know who you guys thought was the biggest steal of the draft. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.